Yo, what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there, Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal, which, again, Devil Driver, grown by our friend Big Earl. And we're smoking this again because I really had a good time on this strain last episode. So we'll tell you about it again. Devil Driver's sativa dominant hybrid, created through crossing the classic Melonade and Sunday Driver strains. Don't let this name of the lovely lady scare you away. She's anything but devilish. In fact, Devil Driver packs a super high, bright and vibrant high that will get your mind and body moving out of any rut that you might feel like you're stuck in. The high will hit fast and hard, rushing into your brain with euphoric and energizing scents and gets your mental gears turning immediately. A sense of creativity accompanies this happy boost, lending itself with any artistic task that you might have at hand. A lightly tingly body high rounds out the effects, giving you a get-moving feeling that will have you instantly out of bed or off the couch. Thanks to these effects, THC average around 28-30%. level. Devil Driver is often said to be perfect for treating a variety of conditions, including chronic fatigue, ADD, ADHD, depression, mood swings, and chronic stress or anxiety. This bud has a sweet and fruity, creamy citrus melon flavor with hints of sugary vanilla and a touch of earthiness. The aroma is very similar, with a sweet and sour lemon vanilla overtone extended by fresh, fruity melons. Devil Driver's buds have long, peppery-shaped forest green nugs and deep purple undertones, thick amber hairs, and a tiny, frosty, blue-tinted white crystal trichomes.
That's exactly what I rolled.
Yeah?
Yes, it is.
Yes, you did. You've been rolling some fat doinks lately, too. I love it. And I'd like to thank Big Earl for throwing to the cause. I love this strain so much, we gave it back-to-back episodes because this...
So good.
Oh, Mrs. Weedman, you've been smoking this all week.
I have. I made a mistake, though, of smoking it before bed. I thought I picked up
The Blue Zoosh?
I think I had Blue Zooshi, and I smoked that because then I was laying in bed like, well, what could I build?
You should have. Oh, shit. Well, thanks, Big Earl, for throwing to the cause. And Mrs. Weedman right now is going to tell you a little bit about 8decades.com. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Head on over to 8decades.com. That is the word 8, not that, well, it is the number, but it's spelled out EIGHT. I kind of failed on that one. Anyway, 8decades.com, and there you will find our website. And there you will find things all about us and what me and Mr. Weedman are trying to accomplish here, why we set out to have this podcast and advocate for cannabis, and the growth of taking that advocacy into a brand. So 8 Decades is our lifestyle brand. I think that was a lot of stoner talk that just happened. It's our lifestyle brand. We've got rolling trays. We have storage jars and other accessories. High quality, intended to be your one and done stuff that you could have for years and years and years instead of throwing things away and buying junky plastic stuff. Spend some money on some good stuff. We also have hemp clothing. It's hemp and organic cotton blend from Young Maven.
So nice.
Yep. Amazing with our logo embroidered on them. Great pieces. And you'll also find links to the podcast and Weedman 420 swag. So check us out. Sign up for our newsletter, and you will get free shipping on your first order.
There you go. And as we always say, you support 8decades.com, you're supporting the show, and we get to pay our producer Shoddy. So we appreciate everybody there who supports the brand and supports our website and supports the show. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, we're at 820 or 25 now. We'd like to get to 1,000, and help us out there and just hit that subscribe button. Keep on listening, keep on viewing our show. We appreciate it out there. And then also, you can also throw us a little bit of cash. You can basically go on and sponsor the show. You can go and hit the
Yeah, not really cash.
Yeah, you can go hit the button, and that helps pay for our the best producer I ever had, and the only producer I'll ever have, Shoddy. So thanks everybody for the support out there that's been donating and for supporting 8decades.com. We appreciate you. So, Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
There's some problems right now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there's some problems right now. And it has to do with the human body. And it's funny because I always thought farts are funny.
Yeah, you do think farts are funny.
I do think farts are so funny. Flatulence is funny. I grew up with a dad who farted a lot. And my dad always, oh my God, my dad was the best. But I'll tell you a little story of fart funny fart story, okay? I was probably like 18, 19 years old. My dad was kind of ill, but my dad was a trickster. He was Mrs. Weedman knew him well, practical joker. He was the biggest ball buster you would ever meet in your life. Loved to bust chops. Didn't care who you were. Would bust your chops. First met you, knew you for 50 years. He'd bust your balls. Okay. So my dad was a fart layer. Okay. Or a fart knocker, as Mrs. Weedman called our kids growing up.
Or a
fart knockers.
fartuka.
Or a fartuka. So no, he wasn't
No,
a fartuka.
he is not.
No.
Because that had to do with the name of a family.
Yes. So
I know.
So I'm sitting we're watching a football game. My dad loved his Pringles. He loved salt and vinegar Pringles. Always had by the couch.
Fringles.
Fringles, as he called them. Fringles. And so I'm sitting on the couch. Next thing you know, I thought I was smelling the salt and vinegar Pringles. Next thing you know, I'm like, what is that fucking smell? It's driving me absolutely crazy. Like, it's fucking stinks here. And my dad just looking at the TV. No, not even laughing yet. Just had a straight fucking face. Looking at the TV. I'm like, what? I'm looking at him. I'm like, what the hell is that smell? All of a sudden, he just looks at me. This is going on for like 15, 20 minutes now. Like me just looking at it. But he's probably been doing it for an hour. Okay, what he was doing to me. All of a sudden, he starts laughing his fucking ass off, like hysterical in his Carmine Romano way, laughing his ass off so hard. All of a sudden, I'm like, is it you fucking dropping ass right now? He goes, I've been grabbing farts in my hand and throwing them in your face.
Throwing them at you? Oh my God.
For like the last hour. And now you're like, and you've been swatting, swinging, like, what the hell is that smell? And he was throwing farts at me. Literally throwing farts.
Oh my God.
Catching him in his hand, putting his hand down his pants.
I could picture it.
Catching him in his hand, cupping him and going like that. For an hour.
Kamehameha.
Yes, and you like fucking Dragon Ball like I do. He was doing the old the Kamehameha wave at me, the old farty wave at me, but literally dying laughing. I'll never forget it. My dad's passed away now. God rest his soul. I love my old man. He was very, but this took the cake on his fucking practical jokes on me. I mean, I got many that he's done to me, but this was top 5 of all time. So, farts, they're funny. I think they're funny. Flatulence is funny when you make light of it. Yes, I don't want to smell someone's ass. Trust me. But fart jokes and playing tricks on somebody, and when you live with somebody, as long as Mrs. Weedman, when you crop dust them or you pull the covers up over their head. It's just funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially when you're stoned. Oh my God. When you're hanging out with your guys or you're hanging out with your girlfriends and someone farts and you just laugh. But guys make fun of one another and bust each other's chops hard when it comes to farts. So yes, we're talking about farts. But there's science level fart data out there now. Ms. Weedman.
Tell me about it.
All right. So you might have heard the headline from the New York Post on how apparently we fart twice as much as we thought. And it's not just your partner or roommate who never fucking shuts up about it, right? So they did some research at the University of Maryland, and they cooked up some next level underwear tech. So calling it, this is a lame ass name, smart underwear.
Okay.
Okay, and it does exactly what it says. Okay. It measures every single fart that you pass through your ass by tracking the hydrogen gas.
And the off gases.
Your gut your microbes produce in your gut. So think of it like it's like a ass monitor for your farts. Before this gadget, scientists were basically guessing on self-reports. People saying, "Yeah, I fart about 10 to 20 times a day." Right?
Yeah.
But when they tested the people with this smart underwear, the sensor turned out that people fart more like 32 farts a day on average.
Holy cow.
Almost double.
That's crazy. I mean, I guess it's like white noise, right? Like sometimes if you're just by yourself and it's not an inconvenience, it's just like, however it comes out, right?
God.
Right?
So many different sounds.
It just happens, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it goes. But then if you're in the company of people, you're like, squeezing cheeks, right? You're trying to hang it.
Or you try to think you're going to do a silent but deadly one.
And then it goes up
a
in your
silent one.
stomach.
No,
and it
you rip
rumbles
it.
around in your
You
stomach.
squeeze your cheek just a little bit so it doesn't make any sound.
Oh, and
so
it
it
makes
comes
a
out
lot of sound?
silent, but the stink is unbearable.
Oh,
You're just like
God.
looking around going, who
Who's
farted?
that?
Who? And you're pointing at people going, and you're like,
Oh, I think the worst is being next to a stranger who does that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And you open your mouth like, oh,
And
the
you
smell, and you like eat their
and you tasted
their
ketchup.
stench.
You
And you're
tasted
like,
ketchup.
oh my God.
Well, you tasted ketchup and onions.
That person just farted. And I ate it. Fuck. Yeah, Yuki. You hear Yuki?
Even Yuki farts.
She even moaned about that shit. She's like, don't eat other people's farts.
so they're launching an atlas, a human flatus, fartus.
Flatulence?
Flagellant. No, it's FLATUS. Flatus. Flatus atlas.
Wow.
For human fart patterns.
Human fart patterns. That's kind of funny.
I think they're doing this still to see what people eat microbe-wise and what your gut actually kind of fucking does. But oh my God. So next time you're munching out on something when you're stoned, you got some munchies, kind of, or a high fiber salad or some shit, just remember, your gut microbes are literally talking back. And now science is finally catching up to figure this all out.
Gosh.
Farting is funny. I'm sorry. I'm a kid at heart. I know my age. I'm a grown ass man, but I tell you what, I still act like I'm fucking
2?
what? No,
No, because a 2-year-old doesn't know how funny a fart is.
I still act like I'm
Like you're 15.
17, 18 years old. I'm telling you, I can't help it. I just, I don't want to grow up on Toys R Us kid, I guess. Arts. You ready to get the show started?
Yeah.
All right. Wait, before I start.
Yeah.
You ever fucking fart? Like you're sitting in a chair at a desk and you're working and you fart and it doesn't come out the back, it comes up through the front and it goes right in your fucking nose and you're just like, oh my God, what the fuck did I just do to myself? And you're just like, why did it come in my face? You ever had that happen?
Because you're leaning too far back.
You ever have that happen?
I don't think so.
It's happened to me multiple times, but probably more than multiple. I could tell.
Maybe it's a guy thing.
I don't know, but the other day it happened to me and I thought I almost died. I was working at the computer. I was like, oh, what did I eat last night? All right, now I'm ready to get the show started. Let's get into some real talk about something that's a little bit different. It's been a little quietly lurking in the cannabis world, and nope, it ain't a new strain or some boutique terpene profile. This comes from MJ Biz Daily, recent piece on cannabis testing and trust. You're going to want to hear this, okay? So before I get into it, we've talked a lot about Scromitting, which is cannabis hyperkinesis syndrome, where they're saying that too much THC percentage makes people sick. They're ending up in the hospital. Mm-hmm. They're vomiting profusely for hours.
Yeah.
They can't keep anything down. The only thing that helps is hot showers, if that helps at all. So there's a lot going on right now. They're saying that, cannabis hyperkinesis syndrome, CHS, is up like 23 to 25%. I just read an article that hospital visits in West Virginia or Virginia, I think it was West Virginia, like up like 28%. So, but we've talked about this on plenty of other episodes. What may be the cause of this? We still need more research. They're putting a lot of blame on cannabis itself. This got me when I read this the other day, and I'm like, I cannot wait to talk about it. I cannot wait to talk about it. I cannot wait to talk about it. So let's get into it. So picture this. You buy legal product from a dispensary, flower, vape, whatever, and you trust it's been tested for safety. Right, Mrs. Weedman?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a research from Colorado University just dropped a big old bomb. State-mandated cannabis testing in the U.S. doesn't screen for certain types of harmful mold compounds that could make people not just sick, really sick. This isn't just, oh dang, the bud smelled funky. We're talking about myotoxins, tiny toxic molecules produced by mold like fusarium, 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 that won't necessarily show up on standard lab panels that states require. Yep, mold gaslighting the system. And I know what you're thinking, but weed gets tested for mold already, right? Yep, states do screen for basically mold indicators like total yeast and mold counts. That's your common mold screening. But they don't test for specific myotoxins like fusarium, nasty byproducts that can still hang around even after remediation. Here's where it gets extra wild. Some folks are pointing out to a cluster of severe vomiting episodes. The medical community even has a term for it: cannabis hyperkinesis syndrome, or the new word for it, scromitting,
Hmm.
a blend of screaming and vomiting, literally chaos, and wondering if these unseen myotoxins could be a part of the puzzle piece. These toxins have been linked in other studies to symptoms that look a lot like the ones people are reporting after smoking weed.
Hmm.
And get this, even in Canada, with a pretty serious testing regime, researchers found fusarium myotoxins in cannabis at twice the levels allowed in food products.
Ah.
So this isn't some fringy theory. There's documented evidence that these compounds exist in cannabis flower even after remediation. A big problem here. Big problem. Once a cannabis product fails an initial mold test, it can be remediated, like the irradiation of other methods, and then still be sold in states like Colorado without being labeled as previously failed for mold. So a product might hit the shelf looking compliant, but still carry unwanted microbial survivors. Now, regulations aren't totally buying the idea that this is widespread crisis. Colorado's Marijuana Enforcement Division basically said current science doesn't show fusarium contamination is a big deal. But the researchers push back, pointing out that you can't detect what you're not testing for. And right now, no U.S. state is testing for these specific myotoxins. For all the people in the back. As of right now, no U.S. state is testing for these specific myotoxins. So what's the takeaway from all this? On one hand, legal cannabis markets are supposed to be safer by design than the old black market scene. But if your lab tests don't catch potentially harmful compounds, then maybe it's time we start asking why certain contaminants aren't on the mandatory list and what they might be quietly putting into your lungs. And for all you growers and caregivers out there, this isn't just about compliance, it's about consumer trust and safety. Pushing for better testing standards that include harmful myotoxins, stuff like fusarium compounds, could make cannabis safer for everybody. So I wanted to learn a little bit more what fusarium is. It's a species are prolific producers of harmful toxins called myotoxins. Fumanzins, tricatosines, and zelariones. Fucking don't ask me how
I'll
to
try
pronounce
looking
those.
those up later.
Yeah. But these toxins contaminate crops like corn, wheat, rice, and saying possibly cannabis too.
Hmm.
Any kind of like crops.
Okay.
Okay. The health effects. Ingesting food and plants contaminated with these toxins can cause vomiting, diarrhea, and severe high exposure causes acute poisoning.
Ooh.
Long-term risk. Chronic exposure to these toxins through food has been linked to immune suppression, hormonal imbalances, and increased risk of cancer. Fusarium infections are often difficult to treat because the fungus is resistant to many common antifungal medications. If you suspect it may be fusarium infection, it is important to seek medical attention immediately. The plot thickens,
The plot thickens.
right? So everybody wants to point the finger at the plant, at the cannabis plant, saying it's the effect. But you all have to remember this. Mrs. Weedman knows what I'm going to say. That plant has angels in its leaves. It's not here to harm you. It's here to medicate you and help you get through. So, as we are blaming that beautiful plant that was given to us, we have to look deeper into what the growing techniques are and these molds and funguses that can grow on just about anything that can make you sick. and how we are treating this plant between overproduction, not curing your weed right, not doing the specific things to make sure that that cannabis plant that you're that you're selling to somebody is safe and not getting people sick. So do your research out there, everybody. Just don't take what I've read to you. If you've had Scromitting or CHS, investigate. Just don't let your doctor say, oh, it's the weed. Remember that. Think for yourself. Go out there and figure it out. Ms. Weedman,
Mr. Weedman.
how does marijuana use factor into life insurance coverage?
That's quite a segue.
I give Ms. Weedman the one that, hey, listen, all right, I'm not making fun of life.
I get all the technical stuff.
Usually I get it, but I had to give Mrs. Weedman something technical. So listen, I got Mrs. Weedman's got life insurance. I have life insurance. It comes a time when for your partner's safety or for your kids' future or whatever, life insurance is important, even though it's like roll your eyes like, oh my God, snooze, Mr. Weedman. But it is, if you're out there, you're our age and you're trying to get life insurance, these are some factors that you need to know.
Yep.
Because I got asked these questions when I went. That's why I gave this to you, because I know you got asked these questions too, right? About do you smoke weed?
Right.
How much do you smoke? What type do you smoke? Correct on this, what you're going to talk about. So I know it's like snooze fest out there for life insurance, but it is important. So if you're
even
in
if
the
you're
market,
like you're in your 30s, you could start considering about some sort of life insurance.
If you're married with
even
kids,
in your 20s. I mean,
if you're married with
never
kids,
too soon.
you want life insurance.
Yeah.
Because if you pass away, something happens to you, that protects your partner, your loved ones, to not have to deal with all the bullshit that comes after it.
Right.
So tell us about Ms. Weedman.
All right. Well, marijuana use is becoming increasingly popular in the United States, with more than 52 million Americans using the substance annually, according to the CDC. If you're one of them, you might be wondering how marijuana use can affect buying life insurance. Can you still buy a policy? Generally, you'll still be able to find coverage, but how much it costs will depend on factors such as how often you use marijuana, the cannabis format, and the insurance company. If you're an occasional marijuana user, you can typically buy life insurance, though eligibility and rates will depend on the insurer you choose, any pre-existing medical conditions that you have, the method and frequency with which you use marijuana, and other factors. In recent years, the life insurance industry has shifted significantly in how it views cannabis, says Byron Udell, an independent life insurance broker in Chicago. In the past, it used to be an automatic decline or smoker rating, but today, with the use being legal in so many jurisdictions, many companies now treat it similarly to occasional alcohol use or high-intensity hobbies. Some life insurers even tailor their approach to life insurance underwriting for marijuana users to stand out as more competitive. However, some life insurance companies will deny coverage based on marijuana patterns and certain circumstances. How often and how you consume marijuana or THC can determine your eligibility to get non-tobacco versus tobacco rates. It can define your ability to qualify for coverage, and it can determine whether you will get preferred rates or if you'll be charged more than the average premium, says Zach Pugh, chief underwriter at Banner Life. And the way life insurance companies approach underwriting for marijuana users is evolving alongside the substance's role in society. Understanding how a company factors marijuana use into its underwriting process for life insurance quotes can help you save money in the long run. This is where an experienced independent life insurance agent can help you navigate your choices. Some companies might offer non-smoker rates for certain cannabis users partaking up to a couple of times a week, while others automatically classify even occasional users as smokers, says Udell. Life insurance for smokers can cost more than 3 times as much as it does for non-smokers. Our analysis of life insurance quotes reveals that marijuana users in excellent health shopping for a $500,000 20-year term life policy pay anywhere from 36% to 66% more for coverage. on average than those who don't use the substance. Even if a marijuana user is in otherwise excellent health, you might not qualify for an insurer's best rate depending on how frequently you use marijuana. The cost of life insurance for marijuana users will vary on a range of factors, including your age, sex, health, and usage method and patterns. A few key steps that can help you get the best life insurance rates. Shop around. Some insurers charge smoker rates for marijuana users who smoke or vape more than a certain number of times each month, which could make a big difference in your life insurance quotes. Because of these variations, it's important to get multiple quotes for the same type of policy and amount of coverage. Get help from an insurance agent, an experienced life insurance agent who is well versed in the relationship between marijuana and life insurance rates can help you find the best insurer for your situation. Don't lie about your marijuana use on your life insurance application. If you lie about marijuana use when applying for life insurance, your application could be denied. And if you die within the contestability period, typically the first 2 years of a policy, your beneficiary might have their claim denied, even if your death wasn't related to marijuana use. That's bullshit. Insurers have several ways to find out whether you use marijuana. Insurers can find out about marijuana use even if you apply for a no exam life insurance policy. Apart from the questions asked on a form, labs and medical records that are pulled during underwriting are a primary form of identification, says Dr. Edgar Fernandez, Vice President and Chief Medical Officer at the Banner Life family of companies. So, understand how the method of use and your frequency can affect quotes too. When life insurers differentiate among ingesting, smoking and vaping, edibles, it usually will affect your life insurance quotes less than smoking or vaping. Infrequent use, such as fewer than 2 times per week, can make you eligible for the best rates with some companies. So, long story short, do some homework and get in touch with an agent who knows their way around weed.
Nice one.
Yeah.
You made that interesting.
I tried. It was a very boring article, Mr. Weedman. Thank you. But I think it's important because
knowledge is power, right?
Yeah, because I have talked about that many times in past episodes. The whole do I, don't I tell my doctor that I use cannabis? Is it going to prevent me from getting coverage from my insurer?
Yeah.
Is it going to go back to my life insurance policy and have them drop me?
Mhm.
Like, what effect does this have on my life?
Right.
Other than, like your medical doctor should know that you use cannabis, especially if you're using it for pain relief and headache relief and insomnia and all these things that it can help with. That's part of your kind of health story. And if you've found an aid that is working for you and it is, relatively healthy, I think it's important that they know that. They start to hear these kind of happy stories about cannabis use. And the more they hear about that, the more it becomes something that they start to question
Right.
as being a viable tool for patients,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But it's always that fear, like, oh, what if my insurance, like at our age, we're middle aged. So at our age, it's a fear that your life insurance is going to drop you or your health insurance company is going to drop you. So you kind of, but I think the big takeaway is, you can consume cannabis in ways that don't require smoking.
We only use edibles on this show.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I don't smoke cannabis. What's that?
Yeah.
I only eat edibles.
Yeah, I only eat edibles if they ask.
That's how it goes.
You only eat edibles. So it's the gray area.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Good job, though, making it interesting. It's not an easy talking sometimes about life insurance and health insurance.
Boring.
It's snooze fest. But we're rolling into some science bag right now. You ready?
All right.
This one comes from a peer-reviewed article titled Cannabinoids and Skin Cancer. The insights of therapeutic potential and the transitional perspectives. And this is a deep dive, so let's break it down. We know people who have had skin cancer, right?
Me?
Yes. Ma 420.
We know. Yeah.
Bigfoot, brother Bigfoot, but multiple people we've known, and it's not fun. So first off, skin cancer. We're not talking small numbers here. According to the global data from Globacon in 2022, non-melanoma skin cancers, that's basal cell carcinoma, BCC, and why do I have all the hard words today? Squamous cell carcinoma,
Actually, it's
SCC.
just kind of a good thing that you don't know how to say those things because that would mean that you're familiar with them and then maybe you had them.
Yeah, true.
So squamous cell carcinoma
Thanks.
and basal cell carcinoma.
We should have reversed it. I should have took the life insurance. You should have took this one.
That's right.
Are the 5th most common cancers worldwide. 5th, with over 1.2 million cases annually. Basal cell alone makes up about 80% of the non-melanoma diagnoses. Then you've got melanoma. Less common, but way more aggressive, around 331,000 new cases and nearly 59,000 deaths globally. Non-melanoma cancers caused about 69,000 deaths. So yeah, this isn't just a sunburn problem. This is a major global health issue. What's driving it? A mix of genetics and environment, especially UV radiation. UVA goes deep, causes oxidative stress and immune suppression. UVB hits keratin. Oh man, I can't pronounce this word. And I'm too stoned. Keratin. KERATINOCYTES. There you go, everybody. Directly and damages DNA. One of the earliest hits, formation of the cyclobutane pyrimidiners, DNA damage that can mutate the P53 tumor suppressor gene, which normally tells damaged cells to repair themselves or self-destruct. When the P53 gets knocked out, now I can pronounce P53. Why can't they just make it all numbers and letters? It's pretty good. Gets knocked out, cells multiply unchecked. That's carcinogenous knocking at the door. Now, here's where it gets interesting for our world. The review focuses on the endocannabinoid system as a potential therapeutic target. That's your CB1, CB2 receptors, indigenous cannabinoids like N-anandamide AE, and 2-AG, and enzymes like FAAH and MAGL that regulate them, which we've talked about those in prior shows. Cannabinoids fall into 3 categories: phytocannabinoids, CBD, THC, CBG, CBC, CBN, endocannabinoids, AEA, 2-AG, OEA, PEA, synthetic cannabinoids, WIN55, 212-2, JWH 133, ACEAE, AM 251. And according to the preclinical data, these compounds show serious anti-tumor activity. We're talking inhibiting tumor proliferation, suppressing angiogenesis, that's blood vessel growth feeding tumors, reducing invasion and metastasis. Did I say that right? Kind of.
It's close enough.
Thank you. Inducing apoptosis, programmed cell death, and triggering autophagy. I don't know. Autophagy. It's just it's just a fugazi. Modulating the tumor immune microenvironment. Cannabinoids can shut down the P13K AKT pathway, hit the MPAC pathway, induce ER stress, activate the TRIB3, inhibit mTORC1, elevate ROS, and mess with the WNTB, catein signaling. Basically, they can stress cancer cells out from multiple angles, every which way. Boom, 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 bang, bang, bing, bang, boom. CBD in particular shows strong promise, and a non-psychoactive interacts with the 5-HT1A receptor, induces oxidative stress in tumor cells, suppresses epileptical mesothelioma. Sorry, everybody. Fucking just brutal. Sorry. Transition, meaning it may reduce metastatic spread. And both receptors dependent on independent mechanisms. Phew.
Wow,
Sweating on that.
You got through that hardly.
Yeah. THC, it also induces autophagy and apoptosis in melanoma models, but psychoactive complexities, clinical adoption. Whew, man, this is a hard one. Sorry, everybody. And here's the key part. All of this preclinical, we're talking in vitro cell lines, murine models, mechanism pathway studies, clinical translations, still very limited. No completed randomized clinical trials directly proving cannabinoids treat melanoma or the NMSC. There is an ongoing study looking at cannabinoids' effect on tumor infiltrating lymphocyst TILs in melanoma. basically seeing how cannabinoids influence immune cell inside tumors, but results aren't in yet. Where cannabinoids are validated clinically, symptom relief, pain, nausea, appetite loss, synthetic analogs like dronabinol and nabilin are already used in oncology. Now let's talk innovation because this is where it gets futuristic. Researchers are developing topicals and nanocarrier formulations, CBD, nanostructured lipid carrier gels for non-melanoma skin cancer, CBD PTX, non-carrier showing synergistic melanoma cytotoxicity, nano-encapsulated CBD creams reducing UV-induced DNA damage. Topical delivery is huge because it minimizes systemic toxicity and improves skin penetration. That's precision therapy vibes right there. But let's keep it honest. The review makes it clear. Sip of water. Dosing is undefined. Long-term safety unclear. Um, variability in cannabinoid purity and formulation. Potential cryptochrome P450 drug interactions. Psychoactive effects with THC. Translation to dermatologic oncology requires rigorous controlled clinical trials. So what's the vibe overall? Cannabinoids are biologically plausible, versatile, and pre-clinically promising. They target tumor cells in the tumor microenvironment. They modulate immune response. They may enhance conventional therapies. But, and this is a big but, they are not there. They're not yet validated as frontline skin cancer treatments. Ooh. We're in a fascinating zone where the science is strong at the lab bench, but the hospital chart still needs receipts. And that's what I love about this plant and this space and what we're reviewing here. We're watching potential translational medicine unfold right now in our time, in our era generation. This is great. So, especially for that. It's pretty bad. I've seen some scars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So take care of your skin out there. Take care of sun is good, but just keep track of how much. You need that vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Taste buds.
Yes. This is interesting.
Yeah, weed might be secretly changing your taste buds. Ms. Weedman is going to tell you how.
Well, when people talk about cannabis and flavor, the conversation usually stops at terpenes, citrus, gas, pine, cake. We talk about what the overall flavor of the bud is like, but rarely is it asked, does weed change taste? And yet, long-term cannabis use may be quietly reshaping the way some people experience bitterness, sweetness, aroma, and complexity across food and drink. Not overnight or super dramatically, but gradually and often without us noticing. Taste isn't fixed, it's a sensory system that adapts over time based on exposure, repetition, and context. Coffee drinkers learn to appreciate bitterness, wine drinkers notice nuance, and spice lovers chase heat that once felt overwhelming. Cannabis may play a role in that adaptation. The endocannabinoid system, which cannabis interacts with, is involved not just in mood and appetite, but also in sensory perception. Cannabinoid receptors exist in the brain regions responsible for smell and taste. So, repeated exposure to THC and other cannabinoids may subtly influence how flavors are processed. Over time, this can change what stands out and what fades into the background. Many regular cannabis users report a shift away from overly sweet foods toward more complex or bitter flavors. Dark chocolate versus milk chocolate, black coffee instead of sugary drinks, and natural wine over mass produced bottles. This isn't necessarily about cannabis causing better taste, but about sensory recalibration. THC can heighten awareness of aroma and texture while softening the sharp edges of bitterness. That combination can make flavors that once felt harsh or unpleasant suddenly feel interesting. Of course, this isn't universal. Tolerance, frequency, product type, and individual biology all matter. Some people experience heightened sensory awareness, others notice little change. And sensory adaptation can shift again if cannabis use changes or stops. Across the country, structured cannabis tastings are helping formalize that shift from passive consumption to active discernment. Over the last 2 years, Buddhist has hosted more than 50 events, ranging from intimate 15-person gatherings to experiences with thousands of attendees. According to co founder and CEO Jocelyn Sheltraw, there's a clear difference between novices and aficionados, and the noticeable evolution is how attendees talk about flavor. What I've noticed is that there are two primary kinds of consumers who attend our events: the connoisseur and the newcomer, Sheltraw said. And education from groups like Buddhist, Ganjier, and many others working on the front lines is helping push normalization forward. And it's clearly advancing the knowledge of the broader community. It's really cool to watch how quickly it's evolving in such a short period of time. Sheltraw doesn't frame the changes as purely physiological, though. Instead, she points to attention. I think repeated exposure increases sensitivity, but only if it's mindful, she said. If consumption is purely habitual, perception can actually flatten. But when people slow down and engage intentionally, their sensory vocabulary expands. That vocabulary often extends beyond cannabis. Once people learn to identify subtle bitterness as structure rather than a flaw, or to distinguish sweetness from fruit expression, the skill can carry into other food and drink. As more people experience guided tastings, they begin to expect context, Sheltraw said. They want to know who produced the flower, where it was grown, and why it expresses the way it does. That curiosity is healthy. In that sense, cannabis may not be chemically refining the palate so much as culturally training it. The irony is that while cannabis culture is obsessed with flavor, it rarely looks beyond the plant itself. But cannabis doesn't exist in isolation. It shows up at dinner tables, wine tastings, coffee shops, and kitchens. Over time, it becomes part of how people learn to taste the world. Not everyone who uses cannabis will notice a change in taste, but for those who do, it's not about chasing flavor. It's about learning how to pay attention to it.
Good article
Yeah.
by Taylor Ingle.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Liked it a lot. Caught your eye
I
too.
mean, I can't relate to it right now because my medications alter my ability to taste.
And your smell.
Yeah. But I would say that when my taste buds were really good,
God,
because
you
I
had
had
such
a
good
I had
taste
a
buds. You had a
pretty
great palate.
I had a pretty good palate.
Ugh.
And I would say that, yes, my senses very much get heightened when I smoke cannabis.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
yeah.
taste would definitely. I mean, we go to town sometimes when we eat. Like, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've never had this before when we were stoned. Now it's just like getting through it.
Yeah, I smoked cigs for a long time, so my taste buds haven't been that good in years. But my nose is how I taste because
Mhm.
of the olfactory glands. So that's how I know weed lights me up. With my nose knows like Toucan Sam. You know, follow your nose.
Because
It
your nose
always
knows.
you know. So, political, state, and business news. From high cannabis taxes push Connecticut consumers across state lines to Massachusetts, folks in Connecticut are literally packing bowls and packing cars for a price check road trip to Massachusetts. High state tax, including a potency-based excise, are bumping Connecticut prices way up, while next door Massachusetts stays friendlier on the wallet, pushing consumers over the border for cheaper herb. Hey, we got a state like that too, called
Mhm.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Pretty close to us, where a lot of people go. Is hemp the future of flooring, Ms. Weedman?
I don't know.
Hempwood
That'd be great.
flooring, like hempwood, doesn't instantly replace oak or cheap vinyl, but it does challenge the flooring status quo. Hemp-based floors are strong, durable, cleaner for indoor air, and eco-friendly, like petrochemical vinyl. Unlike petrochemical vinyl, let me make that clear, and could be sustainably flooring choice as awareness grows. We love hemp. North Carolina's cannabis convo is still heating up. Lawmakers and advocates are debating whether to legalize marijuana for adult use and tap into its potential tax revenue, but progress remains slow. Traditional cannabis stays illegal there, while neighboring hemp products flourish in the gray legal zone as residents push for reform. 7 years after legalization, Only about 15% of cannabis businesses in the Bay State are owned by social equity applicants aimed at helping communities hit hardest by drug arrest. Despite progress, equity programs aren't delivering big success. Operators still juggle competition, high cost, and market hurdles trying to build a stable business. Massachusetts also just crossed $9 billion in total adult use cannabis sales since legalization in 2018, with $1.65 billion sold in 2025 alone, and a noticeable buy up before a big snowstorm last month also. So flowers led the way in popularity, followed by vapes and pre-rolls, proving once again that legal weed is a serious economic engine. Hope everybody's safe out there too in the whole Northeast between Massachusetts all the way down to Jersey with all that snow. Hopefully, we were safe out there and got some weed before it snowed. Nebraska candidates like State Senator John Kavanaugh and Dan Osborne are signing compassionate pledges to back medical cannabis access, pushed a national medical program, and stopped federal interference blocking patients' medicine. They say Nebraskans deserve safe access to states' rights after voters overwhelmingly backed medical cannabis. Despite what doom-scrolling headlines might shout, the 30-year data trend shows teen marijuana use hasn't spiked with legalization. In fact, as more states legalize, use continues to decline, challenging the myth that legal weed makes more minors toke up. In cold states, retailers are actually rooting for snowstorms, like I just said, because bad weather drives foot traffic and spikes legal cannabis sales. Shoppers stock up early, boosting revenue and helping clear inventory. It's not just about storm prep. Storm-related buying habits are shaping seasonal cannabis demand and giving some retailers a frosty little advantage when flakes start falling. Yeah, they're hoping it snows more. Maine is currently the only state where medical weed doesn't have to be tested for mold. If you get scromitting, look into it. Chemicals for heavy metals. Lawmakers are now trying to level up safety by requiring same testing of recreational cannabis already faces, closing a long-standing gap in patient protection and quality assurance. Illinois saw cannabis revenues slide 13% to about $1.5 billion last year, even though the number of items sold jumped to 58 million. Why? Prices dropped hard from when ounces were $400 an ounce when adult use launched to now about $160.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, meaning more sales by volume, but lower cash flowing in. Market dynamics, folks. Price compression is real, and this is not the first state this is happening to. Just look at the West Coast, and it's moved all the way to the Midwest, and it's already starting on states on the East Coast, and if it hasn't already. So, yeah. West Virginia Democratic lawmakers led by Delegate Sean Flaherty are rolling out a new adult use cannabis legalization proposal, saying Mountain State residents are missing out while neighbors cash in. The draft bill aims to compete with nearby legal markets and explore public referendums, though past efforts stalled in committee without a hearing. Arizona Senator J.D. Mezend wants to make excessive marijuana odor a crime after neighborhood complains. His bill would classify strong cannabis smoke as a public nuisance. Presume it harms health, and allow penalties for up to 4 months in jail and a $750 fine. A mirror measure could send the question to voters. Oof. Hawaii legislator just okayed a bill letting patients walk into a dispensary and buy medical cannabis right after they submit their registration, instead of waiting for the physical card to arrive. 1 ounce temporary purchases are allowed while the state processes paperwork, speeding access to medicine. Now, passing the joint over to you, Mrs. Weedman.
I'm going to pass the joint to you, not
Thanks.
Ben.
I'll take that devil driver. Thanks, Big Earl.
There you go. Get a little sip of water. Wow. Devil driver. That's good stuff. All right. Let's see if I can get through this. Political, state, and business news, part 2. Nebraska's legislature advanced a haircut version of legislative bill 1235 to streamline the Medical Cannabis Commission. The update trims it to 3 pages, gives commissioners a $12,500 salary, creates a state account for funding, lets fees go up to $50,000, and adds applicant fingerprinting, a small step that doesn't hurt medical cannabis access. South Dakota's Department of Health is ditching plastic cards for digital medical cannabis cards on smartphones to make access easier for patients and caregivers. The Medical Marijuana Oversight Committee asked legislators to table a bill because the state will roll out the digital system on its own, enhancing convenience for marijuana users. A CMS pilot program announced late last year could let some Medicare beneficiaries access hemp derived CBD products as early as April, potentially at no charge with a doctor's recommendation. Early details show limited eligibility and only certain hemp products offered through participating health groups. It's not going to be broad, automatic CBD coverage just yet. The Missouri House approved HB 2641, a bill that would ban intoxicating hemp-derived THC drinks, gummies, and similar products from gas stations and smoke shops, instead allowing those items only in licensed cannabis dispensaries. Supporters say it aligns state law with new federal definitions and protects public safety, while opponents warn it could kneecap small hemp businesses. In Missouri's cannabis world, some growers are skipping straight sales and using a donation model at local fairs, where folks give money and get gifted cannabis instead of buying it. That's because Missouri's constitution lets adults gift up to 3 ounces to another adult.
That's fucking amazing.
That's business development.
Yes.
Creating a quirky gray market loophole that's thriving outside regulated dispensaries.
No such thing as loopholes.
That's
Just
right.
business development.
Multi-state cannabis giant Curaleaf just closed a $500 million private placement of 11.5% senior secured notes due 2029, replacing older debt and giving itself runway to invest and grow globally. It's one of the largest debt deals in the U.S. cannabis sector, underpinning both expansion and refinancing in a still challenging market. New York state legislators want to let licensed liquor and wine shops get a special permit to sell low-dose cannabis drinks with no more than 5 milligrams THC per serving. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
The plan keeps these beverages in a separate area, tracks their inventory, and adds a new cannabis tax, a move aimed at meeting consumer demand while staying regulated. Struggling craft breweries across the U.S. are mixing in hemp-derived THC beverages to boost revenue as traditional beer sales slow. THC drinks are catching on fast as a growth lifeline, but federal regulatory uncertainty, including potential bans on hemp THC products, has brewers nervously watching the clock. Hawaii's Senate greenlit a bill allowing adults 21 and over to possess and use low-dose, low-THC cannabis with maximum 5 milligrams per serving, even as the House says full legalization won't move this year. It doesn't include commercial sales or grow licenses, but it keeps reform alive in the Aloha state. That's pretty crappy. I mean, yeah, it's something, but 5 milligrams? Okay. Texas Democrats included a non-binding advisory question in the March 3rd primary asking adults whether they should be able to legalize cannabis and automatically expunge low-level cannabis records. It won't change the law by itself, but it signals voter sentiment to lawmakers in a traditionally tight-grip state on weed reform. An Oklahoma House committee cleared a bill from Republican Carl Newton that would ban cartoon-styled or animated THC gummy shapes to curb accidental kid appeal and add clearer serving size labeling on marijuana edibles. Proponents say it keeps THC gummies as adult medicine, not kid candy, tightening safety rules in the Sooner State.
I could care less if fucking just give me a square, circle, or
Yeah.
fucking rectangle. I don't care what it looks like. I just want to fucking eat it and get it down so I can
Right.
get my groove on. You know? Fuck, who cares, man? Why are you making them look like fruits and all that?
Right.
Get out of here.
There
with that
should
shit.
just be, maybe there should just be a shape.
Square
Medical cannabis has to be
Square.
triangles.
or circle.
Well, I mean, there's like Starburst. So there's
Right.
candy. Like, what is a shape that there's not a lot of triangles, right?
Yeah.
Gummies, everything can be
Yeah.
a triangle.
Yeah.
Or, like just something like that where it's not something that's common. right?
Yeah.
And then kids can be educated that that shape of candy means it's THC. Don't eat it. And
Make
then
it.
they'll
How
just
about
grow
just
up knowing
what's
that.
the little emoji poop? Just make it look like
The little
poop.
poop.
Make it look like a little poop, and no kid will eat it. Make it look a turd. They'll be
Poopies.
like, ew. That's unappealing. Unless you got a kid that's a shit eater, then you get some problems.
There are a few of those
Yes.
in the world. Yeah.
Oh shit.
All right, moving on. Chicago aldermen tried to override Mayor Johnson's veto of a plan to ban most intoxicating hemp products, but they came up 8 votes short. That means the veto stands and hemp derived products can keep being sold in the city, at least until a federal ban may kick in later this year. U.S. penny production has stopped at the mint, and banks are not handing them out, leaving dispensaries struggling to make exact change. With cash still big in cannabis, rounding to nickels causes inconsistent pricing and accounting headaches, potentially costing retailers thousands annually unless they set clear point of sale rounding rules and provide staff training. And that's all I got, Mr. Weedman. It's back over to you.
Thanks, Ms. Weedman. Missouri Cannabis Regulation launched a verified dispensary program to help patients and consumers spot licensed regulated dispensaries. Participating shops display official decals with QR codes linking to the state map of approved retailers, boosting transparency, product safety, and consumer confidence in the Show Me State's cannabis market. A federal jury in Syracuse found Wenjian Zhu guilty of smuggling about 207 pounds of cannabis from New York City towards the Akawanese Mohawk Reservation. Federal agents, including Border Patrol and the DEA, intercepted the stash. Zhu now faces up to 20 years in prison, big fines, and supervised release. Marijuana grow house network hidden in single-family homes, especially in Maine and Massachusetts, growing and distributing bulk weed while laundering cash and allegedly smuggling workers without passports into the U.S. Law enforcement has seized hundreds of pounds of marijuana, cash, and luxury items, and charged 7 people with multi-million-dollar conspiracy. Rhode Island cannabis regulators are still deciding on how to hand out 20 new retail licenses instead of originally planned 24, with applicants picked by lottery. Prospective licenses are pushing against delays, saying some folks already have invested time and money and don't want the process stalled. The DOJ is telling the justices to uphold the federal ban on marijuana users owning firearms, even if President Trump's move to reschedule cannabis to Schedule 3 becomes law. The case, United States versus Himani, asks whether pot consumers can be barred from gun ownership under federal statute 922 G3. A fight over guns, weed, and constitutional rights. The outcome could reshape rights for millions. Ms. Weedman and I were talking about this yesterday, and I was talking to this with a buddy of mine today, and I said, listen, this should not even be talked about. We have a right to bear arms against tyranny and our government for taking over. We have a right to, doesn't say you don't have a right if you smoke weed. You don't have a right to own a gun if you drink alcohol and you go smoke cigarettes, use prescription drugs that were prescribed to you by a doctor. Doesn't say that in the Constitution. It says you have a right to bear arms on this federal document that is written for us, the people, right? And the government wants to pull your guns away. It could be just the start. You use marijuana, you can't have guns, but they don't put it towards alcohol, right? They don't say alcohol use, you can't own a gun.
Right.
So this is kind of we need to all stand up. If you own a gun, you have a right to. You own a gun, and you smoke weed, this could be take it away. No, we need to stop this. Representative James Comer and Kentucky AG Commissioner Jonathan Schell wrote Senator Mitch McConnell, asking him to back a 2-year delay on the harsh federal restrictions that would wipe out most hemp-derived THC products. They argue farmers need certainty and a time to plan before the ban takes effect this November. I don't want to disrespect, but I'm going to disrespect Mitch McConnell. He shouldn't even be in office right now. That dude is so old and decrepit. I don't even think he's even signing anything. I think it's the fucking his staff that's signing whatever. The dude can't even see so good. Can't even walk. He was in the middle of a speech one time and he forgot where he was at. This is terrible. And this guy who actually voted for the Farm Bill, the 2018 Farm Bill, took it away. I don't even think he knows what he's doing.
Right.
I mean, good Lord. Can't we find somebody better and younger?
You would hope.
Maybe in
You
like
would
their 20s
think.
or 30s or something
How
that
many
understands what's going on? He's like
what's our
fucking
population?
334 million.
Yeah. And that's what we get.
That's what we get.
That's who
A
chooses to go.
90, I don't even know if he's 90, but he looks like it, and he
Oof.
can't barely walk. It's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Phew. Lawmakers in Colorado, Hawaii, Virginia, Washington are pushing Ryan's law style bills to let qualified medical cannabis patients use the medicine in hospitals, nursing homes, and similar facilities. The goal is easing access for seriously ill patients and giving health center guidance on how cannabis fits into treatment options. In Oklahoma, Governor Kevin Stitt wants to send the idea of repealing the state's medical marijuana law back to voters, but elected district attorneys aren't rushing in to back that plan. Good for you. Some local prosecutors say they see problems with the industry, but there's no formal ballot push yet. And other top lawmakers think regulation, not rollback, is the better path forward. CMS head Mehmet Oz, Dr. Oz, as we all know him on TV, says as Americans shift from alcohol to cannabis, there will be consequences, even worrying about high-dose hemp and CBD products. His comments come amid federal moves to reschedule weed and expand CBD coverage through Medicare, highlighting a tough public health balancing act. Let me tell you something, Dr. Oz, Mehmet. You should be happy that people are going away from alcohol. That kills 100,000 people a year. Alcohol poisoning, deaths, drunk driving, all that stuff. You should be happy. Now, maybe you're not for cannabis. Maybe that's just your opinion. But I'm telling you right now, you are a doctor, need to, and I understand you probably looked into it and saw the bad stuff, but didn't research the good stuff. So leave us alone. We don't want your help. Seriously. All right. This is a little long, but I had Miss Weedman cut this out because it is important. And why I'm saying this is important for all you cannabis retailers out there and what's going to come, and it's already started in 2026, worse than 2025 and worse than 2024. But for all you consumers out there, this is a good one for you because you're going to get more weed cheaper. So this is good for you, retailers. You did it to yourselves. That's all I got to say. Love you, though.
So you didn't ask me to cut it out. You just asked me to cut it up.
Cut it up a little bit.
It was a little too technical.
It was a lot
of statistics.
A lot of statistics that you don't really. If you, the article will be posted on our Mrs. Weedman when she writes the article out. It'll be one of the reference.
So you can
links.
get more data on what.
Yeah,
I'm
if you want to
about.
see the numbers and go, if you're a data nerd, you want to get into the numbers part of this. It's on this article, but it's a great article by Cannabis Industry Journal. They've been coming up with some bangers lately that's really helped me like learn more deep of what's going. I mean, I follow pretty good, but they're writing some good stuff right now. So tell us about Ms. Weedman.
Yeah, this is what the cannabis retail pricing is telling us about market pressure. Important word there is the pressure in 2026. In the cannabis industry, pricing behavior often reveals more about market pressure than financial statements ever could. However, some of the most revealing cost signals are subtler, showing up in pricing behaviors, discount strategies, and category-level decisions rather than balance sheets. The Cannabis Deals U.S. Cannabis Price Index, launched in December of 2025, tracks these signals in real time by monitoring more than 21,000 products across 57 licensed online retailers. Rather than measuring wholesale pricing or reported revenue, the index captures what consumers actually see and pay at checkout, revealing emerging behavioral patterns in a maturing market. The index began with a baseline value of 100 in the week of December 8th. By late January of 2026, it had risen to 101.9, a 1.9% increase. While this suggests mild price inflation at the retail level, deeper analysis reveals more nuanced market dynamics. A key insight from the data is that list prices and effective prices, the prices consumers actually pay after discounts, are diverging. While average listed prices remain largely stable in January, discount intensity fluctuated significantly. Retailers are increasingly using discounts as a precise tool to manage demand. Instead of competing on headline prices, they are shifting consumer focus toward effective checkout prices, and they're transferring margin pressure into promotional budgets. Taken together, pricing patterns across CBD and THC categories point to fundamentally different retail roles. In the CBD segment, the highlights are CBD oil averaged $68.37 with a 9.1% discount, while average, that is, while CBD capsules showed a 30% discount rate, indicating commoditized I knew this being stoned, this is going to be rough.
I can get this one. There you
Commoditization
go.
or oversupply. I
There you
got it
go.
out. Yay. In the THC segment, the highlights are that pre-rolls averaged $17.11 with heavy discounting. THC flower held at 62.35, I'm guessing per ounce? Or just the average purchase of THC flower, I
Yeah,
think,
probably an eighth.
with minimal discounts, while vape products averaged 27.96, suggesting a mature and highly competitive equilibrium.
And I think that's for a 1 gram, not a 2 gram.
I think,
vape.
no, they're just talking about that category of
category.
products,
Gotcha.
anything, any size.
Gotcha.
So CBD retailers rely heavily on promotions to attract price-sensitive shoppers, while THC retailers use discounts more selectively, often as traffic drivers rather than sustained margin sacrifices. By late January, 82% of tracked inventory, that's nearly 18,000 products, consisted of non-consumables like vaporizers, head shop items, grow equipment, trays, and storage solutions. These products carried an average effective price of $58 and a mean discount rate of just 1.5%. Interesting, right? The lesson is clear. Overall market averages often don't reflect competitive pricing behavior. There's discount intensity, and it varies sharply by category, revealing where consumers are most price sensitive. Pre-rolls, on average, discount 19.85%. THC edibles average discount 18.91%. CBD capsules average 30%, and THC flower, an average discount of only 0.9%. So, in mid-January, pre-roll prices fell from $45 to $17, a 62% decrease, paired with, on top of that, additional 20% discounting. Nearly 20% discounting. This shift reflects both changes in product size and packaging, as well as deliberate promotional strategies. Retailers converted surplus inventory into traffic, sacrificing margin for attention and downstream value. This approach signals confidence in cross-selling and customer retention rather than short-term profitability. The pricing patterns observed in early 2026 indicate a market that has moved beyond experimentation and into repeatable behavior. Retailers are no longer reacting blindly to pressure. Instead, they're making deliberate choices about where to absorb margin loss and where to protect it. The most extreme price movement is in the index. The 62% drop in pre-roll prices in mid-January was not accidental. It reflects a shared understanding among retailers that pre-rolls are no longer profit centers. Operators are increasingly treating pre-rolls the way grocery stores treat milk.
Oof.
They are priced to attract customers, not yield a margin. Wow. At the other end of the spectrum, THC flower averaging less than 1% discounting sends a clear signal. Consumers continue to accept premium pricing when quality and brand differentiation are clear. The same is true for hardware, with 82% of tracked inventory in non-consumable categories and an average discount rate of just 1.5%. Hardware has become a margin sanctuary. The strategy here is restraint. Unnecessary promotions risk weakening the price signals that justify premium positioning. So don't discount it. CBD stands out for all of the wrong reasons, with average discounts ranging from 15 to 30%. That data indicates structural margin pressure rather than temporary competition. Operators either need meaningful differentiation through formulation, testing, or brand trust, or they must accept that CBD will remain a promotion led category with permanently thinner margins. Discount elasticity varies sharply by category. Pre-rolls, THC edibles, and CBD edibles respond strongly to 15 to 20% promotions. Flower, hardware, and grow equipment do not. Yet many retailers continue to run site-wide promotions out of habit rather than evidence. The data supports a more surgical approach. Frequent, visible promotions in highly elastic categories and minimal discounting elsewhere. Over time, this builds consumer trust while preserving margin where it matters most. Retailers who continue to behave as if volatility is the norm risk overcorrecting in a market that has already stabilized. The cannabis retail market is maturing. Competitive advantage in 2026 will come from understanding where price matters and where it does not, rather than simply chasing the lowest price. That's very interesting.
I tell you what, listen to that. And also, Mrs. Weedman will post the article and our references. And this is the market in a whole,
Because
right?
last year it was just everything was giveaways. Everything was
Woo.
like, okay, buy something here. You've got like 40% off and just promotions and sales and sales and sales. And then it just diminished. It made you
A
wonder,
lot.
like, are you selling it to me because it's a promo or are you selling it to me because it's a good product, right? What's the agenda here? And what am I getting? And then it it's a mixed experience, right?
You're a shopper.
I'm a
You know
shopper.
how to shop. You shop well,
Mhm.
like very well. Like listen, I've been married to Ms. Weedman for 31 years. I'm cheap, but when I shop, I don't look at sales. I just buy what I like. I'm not a sales shopper.
You're not cheap.
I'm frugal,
Yeah, you just,
but
yeah, you're not wasteful.
no, I'm not at all. But when I shop, I don't look if it's on sale or not. It
No.
drives Mrs. Weedman fucking crazy. I don't, because I'm not a sales shopper. I'm not trained. I buy.
You buy infrequently, you buy what you would like to have
Right.
within reason,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I don't go and spend stupid money. Like I said, I'm
Right.
frugal, but I buy what I like, whether it's on sale or not. I'm not a sales shopper. If I like a brand or I like this food item, I don't care if it's fucking $2 off or it's got a red tag, blue tag, green tag. I could give a shit. I care about what I like for me. And if it's quality, I'll spend a little bit more money on it. I don't care if it's on sale because what I put in my body is I'm putting in good stuff and I want to be healthy. So I don't look at sales. And a buddy of mine, man, he blasted me one time about this. and and I was like, dude, I don't care what you say. He's like, well, I want to be like you. I'm like, it has nothing to do with it. I'm not a sales shopper. Even when we had our kids living in the house, I wasn't a sales shopper. I could care less. I'm gonna go buy what I like. And
Mhm.
that's it. Ms. Weedman, on the other hand, shops very well. She's in the nuggets,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And she's in the sales,
Mhm.
and she knows how to work numbers to make sure that she's getting the best price available, like she did with her car today. Damn fucking proud of you, Ms. Weedman. So it's funny how different people shop, but for all you out there that just heard that article, I'm telling you right now, consumers, you control the market. There's a hierarchy in this right now. And it used to be the dealer back in the day was the hierarchy at the top of the top and controlled the market. Uh-uh. Not in this fucking market. The fucking consumer controls the fucking market. I'm telling you right now. Dispensaries and consumers, but consumers more than anything. Whoo, boy. You know what the fuck you're doing out there. You know when to shop, what day. You know what fucking time to get to that fucking store to buy the product you want. And you are checking menus, baby. I look at data. You check your fucking menus because 67% of all shopping is done online. And why you go online to shop? Convenience and to see what the fucking sales are. Oh,
I
boy.
think it's easier because sometimes when you're in the dispensary and you ask for something and they're like, "Oh, we got this one on sale today. Check this out. It's a good product." And then you start looking at that, but you don't really know what the price is to start off with.
Right.
Are you dealing with two same price products? And then there's going to be a sale on something, and then it's like, "Oh my god, what am I even paying? And what am I
Right.
getting? I don't even know."
Yeah.
That's how I get.
Well, the other thing too is the
And because you
kiosk
can't
model, but now
hold the
it's the kiosk
product,
model when
right?
you go to a
Yeah,
dispensary. So you're fucked, but you
that's
also feel,
helpful though because you can
but
see
you
all the
also feel a little
details.
rushed.
Yeah,
But when you're at home in the comfort of your house with a
yeah.
joint in your fucking hand and you're putting shit in the cart because you're scrolling everything through that fucking website to see, and I mean, every website now has on sale, on sale. Look at these 40%. And you click on that and it tells you all the things that
That's
are
the way to
40.
go.
You are fucking dialed in. You fucking click online order. And you go to the fucking, you're front and center in your own fucking line. Online orders this way because as soon as you walk into a dispensary, they ask you if you got an online order because 67% of all buying is done online. Probably even more by
Yeah.
mid next year, probably be 70%. And you know what the fuck you're getting because every time I see one of you walk in the store and someone says, "Got an online order?" Yep, 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 yep. Do you want to buy it? Nope. I know exactly what I spent. This was my budget. I'm walking out the door with this.
Hmm.
It is fucking insane.
Smooth.
Oh yeah.
That's smart because then you can really spend time and look through everything and
Yeah.
yeah, and learn more about the
Yeah.
product that you're buying.
Kiosks
Yeah.
are fine, but you always feel like I know you. If someone walked right behind you, you'd be like, "Oh my God, I
I mean,
gotta
I got to pick
You'd
something.
be
Yeah. I don't fucking know. Just pick that.
Your fucking anxiety
that.
goes through the roof because just one person stepped
Oh my
behind you.
I'm holding them up. They're probably getting annoyed.
Oh shit! So,
Oh my
telling you right
God.
now, consumers, you hold the key. It's on you. International news. Germany, the Link Party, wants to push beyond the current Cannabis Act and get full legalization on the table. They're calling for less red tape for cultivation associations, regional adult use commerce pilot trials, higher personal professions limits, and broader access to consumers, saying the existing rules don't match real demand. In Germany, also, the Federal Court of Justice is preparing a weigh-in on how medical cannabis advertising should work under strict prescription drug and ad laws. Currently, ads for prescription medicines, including medical weed, are heavily limited and can't target the public. A rule regulation is now asking the top court to clarify for cannabis products and telemedicine platforms. Finland's parliament voted 145 to 18 to shoot down a citizen-led push that would have legalized use, possession, personalized cultivation, and regulated sales of cannabis. Your people wanted it, and your parliament voted against it. Boo. There's the Bronx cheer. The Legal Affairs Committee, for all my fellow fam in the Bronx, the Legal Affairs Committee and most parties rejected it, citing health concerns. Through Green and Left parties supported reform, the initiative had reached the required signature threshold. Since legalizing recreational weed in 2018, Canada has turned pot into a global economic force, leading worldwide in legal cannabis exports, high-tech cultivation, federal regulatory standards, and billions in revenue. Its unified national framework lets Canadian companies ship medical cannabis legally to Europe, Australia, and beyond, giving Canada a real edge versus the United States because we can't match it. But I'm going to give you a little stinger, Canada. Not one stinger, but two wasp came up and stung you in hockey in the Olympics this year. Two. And I love you, my Canadians. Oh, Canada. But I tell you what, whoo boy. You might all send me some mean comments after this one, though, but oh boy, Canada, you got some splaining to do when it comes to your hockey teams. I've been waiting for this episode all week.
Turn that knife, Mr. Weedman. Turn it.
I love you, all my Canadians family out there. I really, truly do. But boy, oh boy, was I smiling Sunday morning and Saturday too. But there's always 2030, right? Yeah, 2030.
There's always next time.
There's always next time. So we love you. It's all fun and games, and it is a game. Remember that. Might be life for some people, but it's only a game in the end. And we love you, Canada. Costa Rica is now letting companies and individuals file online for permits to grow and handle hemp for food, industrial use, and medical cannabis for therapeutic use, making the regulatory process more modern and accessible. The move aims to streamline digital applications and help the legal hemp and medical cannabis sectors grow in the Central American market. Victoria, Australia's long-planned medicinal cannabis driving study will now report in 2027 instead of this year, and it dropped its impairment testing component amid budget issues. The trial was meant to help reshape laws about THC and road safety by measuring actual impairment, not just presence. But regulators now face a longer wait for answers. I'm going to tell you something, Australia, you're fucking one of my good buddies, and I've never met him face to face, but I consider him a good friend. You're fucking one of my friends out there because he got fucked by this law, and you're not doing anything to help your constituents out there in your country by figuring this shit out. Okay? My boy Tez, much love. In Australia, the Therapeutic Goods Administration has opened a public consultation to review how unapproved medical cannabis products are regulated, especially with safety concerns rising around the many products assessed through special pathways instead of full approval. Stakeholders, including doctors and health groups, want stronger safety oversight, quality standards, and clear pathways to access while balancing patient needs. A legally prescribed medical cannabis patient in the UK successfully won his Crown Court appeal, overturning a conviction for having THC above the legal driving limits because prosecutors failed to prove that medical defense didn't apply. No defense didn't apply. The ruling doesn't set precedents but pushes for clear guidance on driving while using prescribed medical cannabis. And that's international news, everybody. Ms. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
I think the one thing you really like about weed is the creativity you get from it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably like top of your list, right? Besides because you just love it, but top of your list of why you really like cannabis. It gets your creative juice. Like you said, you were in bed last night wanting to like woodwork and like figuring out what you
build?
can, what can you build, And so Mrs. Weedman's, I love Mrs. Weedman's her thought process when she's in that creative zone, and I know cannabis helps her out. So tell us, cannabis and creativity are becoming the coziest of trends.
Move over, wake and bake. A quieter marijuana movement is taking shape in living rooms, craft studios, and community spaces across the country. Cannabis and creativity are becoming the coziest trend. Millennials and Gen Z consumers are increasingly pairing cannabis with creative hobbies like pottery, journaling, Lego building, watercolor painting, and music production. The shift reflects a broader cultural move toward mindfulness, slow living, and experiences prioritizing self expression over intoxication. Instead of nightlife and party scenes, younger adults are embracing what some are calling high hobbies. Activities blending low dose cannabis use with tactile, screen free pastimes. The appeal is simple. These hobbies offer stress relief, a sense of accomplishment, and a chance to disconnect from constant digital noise. On social platforms like TikTok and Reddit, posts tagged with cozy crafting and cannabis routinely rack up millions of views. Videos show users assembling intricate Lego cityscapes, filling bullet journals with colorful layouts, or shaping clay on pottery wheels, all while describing how a small amount of cannabis helps them relax into the creative process. The vibe is less about getting stoned and more about finding flow. Mental health plays a major role in the trend's popularity. Surveys consistently show younger generations report higher levels of anxiety and burnout than their predecessors. High hobbies provide a gentle antidote. Repetitive motions like knitting or coloring can calm the nervous system, while cannabis in modest doses may reduce inhibition and encourage experimentation. Together, they create a low-pressure environment where perfectionism takes a back seat to play. Artists and hobbyists often describe cannabis as a creative companion rather than a productivity tool. A Seattle-based illustrator who hosts monthly craft nights says attendees are less concerned about making something perfect and more focused on enjoying the process. Participants bring sketchbooks, embroidery hoops, or miniature model kits, and the shared activity fosters a sense of community. Dispensaries and studios are beginning to take notice. In states where cannabis is legal, some retailers are partnering with local artists to host paint nights, pottery workshops, and DIY terrarium classes. These events mirror the popularity of wine and paint gatherings, but with a modern twist resonating with wellness-focused consumers. The science behind cannabis and creativity remains nuanced. While high doses can impair memory and focus, low doses of THC may increase divergent thinking, the ability to generate multiple ideas or solutions. Researchers also point to cannabis's effects on sensory perception, which can make textures, colors, and sounds feel more vivid, enhancing hands-on activities. For those curious about trying a high hobby, moderation is key. Experts recommend starting with a low dose, choosing a comfortable environment, and selecting activities emphasizing process over outcome. Coloring books, journaling prompts, simple watercolor sets, and beginner Lego kits are popular entry points because they require minimal setup and encourage experimentation. Ultimately, the rise of high hobbies reflects a generational shift in how cannabis fits into daily life. Rather than centering social status or escapism, Millennials and Gen Z are weaving it into rituals of creativity, relaxation, and connection. In a fast paced world defined by notifications and deadlines, the simple act of shaping clay, snapping bricks together, or filling a blank page can feel quite revolutionary, especially when paired with a little help unwinding.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
You creative juices
yeah. The
flowing.
flow.
A flow. A flow. Ms. Weedman,
Mr. Weedman,
that's the end of the show. Got anything else to say?
have a great week, everybody. New Yorkers and all of you East Coasters, hope you've shoveled your way out of the snow. And yeah, get high and I don't know. And just pray for spring. Can't come soon enough.
Can't come soon enough. Hey, everybody out there in the world, we love you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. Thanks for everything you do for us out there. And just keep on sharing the show with people. We love you. Be kind to one another. Peace be with you all. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a ninth decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.